If your AI t-shirts aren't really selling on Etsy, it's not the AI, it's your research and your images. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the exact system to actually make them sell. So here's the plan, guys. We're gonna touch on research that finds buyers. We're gonna talk about proven mockups that actually convert. And then we'll touch on break-even pricing so you can launch fast and actually get sales this week. I'm a Sweden-based seller who's done over $1.5 million in print on demand, and this is the actual play that I use. But before we even start, grab my free Etsy niche calendar. Link for that is in the description. Tap it now, enter your email, and I'll send you that for free because we'll actually be using that in the whole video. And you can use that as well as you watch along the video. So first off, we're going to talk about research. And the first part really about research is to know what to sell. And again, when I started this whole thing, I threw a lot of spaghetti at the wall and nothing really worked. What I honestly find with a lot of people that are really successful in business, all people basically that are successful in business, they always rely on data. And it's the only thing that I too found in my whole Etsy journey that actually works. So to even know what to sell on Etsy, we got to use data. And the most reliable data is to just go off of Printify. And they have these new things called Printify Insights, which you can find here in your account. You need at least 20 monthly orders to see this, but I got you covered because I've just downloaded this from my own account here. And the top selling garment, or like the top selling item overall on Printify, whether they're doing Etsy, Shopify, Amazon FBM, or whatever, this whole year it's been the comfort color 1717. Which specifically is this shirt. It's also insanely visible on Etsy. This whole shirt, because if you just search for t-shirt here on Etsy, you will see some stuff here. Like if I go here and then press all filters and then physical items and then attach the star seller filter and then go here and then I swap out star for best in the search bar. Like most of these are comfort colors. Like this one is comfort colors, and I'll show what this is. This one is comfort colors, comfort colors. You can really see that by the collar itself. Like here, it has a really thick color and a really visible one, but most of the shirts here just on the first page are just the comfort colors. Some of them are like Bella 3001s, but again, most of them are comfort colors. So it really goes in line with the Printify Insights. So just relying on this that's the basis for the product that you actually sell, and which colors to actually choose when you sell is just the easiest way to go about this whole thing if you want to treat Etsy as a business. Now, the second thing when it comes to research is like one thing that I've used so much in my journey is a master list. I usually find like 5 to 10 shops that I want to be like. I then download their backend data. I put them all in a Google Sheets file, and I'll do all of this using Everbee because you can't really do it without a software. But I've historically always done that. Put them in a Google Sheets file and then sorted them and based decisions off of that. But the more I've done this, I've actually kind of gone from that. So what I usually now do to simplify things is just ask myself, what are events that happen every single day that are kind of a celebratory or emotional milestones or like events that people generally want to buy gifts for? What are those kinds of things? There are so many things to that. So I've distilled this yearly niche calendar here to make this easy. And again, the key thing to even be able to use this is that you have to target one person. But overall, when it comes to niches, to simplify it, when it comes to Etsy and niches itself, is that they all have to be giftable stuff. Is one of the biggest things with Etsy is how they basically market the whole Etsy brand. And we want to be in line with that in order to make this whole thing work. So if we just go to, what is it now? It's October. Let's see what we can do in October. You'll notice in this that there are a lot of commonalities here. And that's because like I'm focusing really hard on events that happen every single day, evergreen types of niches. And that also has some kind of peak during the year apart from Q4. So a big one, for instance, here is the memorial niche. Let's see here. So let's take, for instance, pet memorial shirts, maybe. Pet memorial shirt. And let's see what we can do that. I know that this is a really big one, but again, people are really, let's see, we'll just format everything for bestsellers. We do it like this. Formatting like this doesn't cost you anything. You don't need a paid tool to this. However, as you can see to my left here, I do have a paid tool and I prefer to use that to do this faster. But again, you don't need one, but to do this faster, it just definitely like really helps. I have the growth plan here with Everbee. We just sort by monthly sales. Let's see what pops up. And we got this one. Again, this has been so popular this year, and I've mentioned that in different videos too. But let's see here. Again, this specific one is doing monthly sales of like 1,600 and like $33,000. And generally, what I've found with Everbee is that they can sometimes be a little bit off. But generally when they're off, they're usually like underestimating what a shirt is actually selling, they're generally not overestimating it. So they probably do a minimum at least of $33,000 in monthly revenue. And again, if you have a pet, you kind of know that feeling that, okay, like I myself had a pet that recently passed away. It's been a year now, but like I still think of her a lot and I really miss her a lot. And something to commemorate her is definitely something that's really meaningful. It's basically an emotional type of a milestone or an event basically that happened in my life along with my girlfriend's life that really affected us. And something to commemorate her is something that I would definitely like really appreciate. And these types of shirts that just represents the fun side of the pet that we have would be perfect to actually use. So again, we focus on emotional and celebratory milestone events, and then we tailor ourselves to that. And we found just these types of two things. All of these are positive versions of the thing that actually happened. So what we could do here to add some value is that we could make like a shirt like this that has the name underneath. So a personalized one, or even more personalized one, plus like the lifespan that the pet had. So maybe like, I don't know, like 2005 to like 2025, something like that. Our cat was actually almost at the 20-year mark, so definitely like hits the spot for me. But something like this could definitely like, that's basically how we choose our designs. And like, you don't have, again, why these, it just says it on the page here. Again, 49 people bought this in the last 24 hours. 26 people bought these in the last 24 hours. And the reason is to commemorate these wonderful pets that we can share our lives with. At least that's how I feel about pets. I really love pets and animals. Anyhow, now the second thing to talk about is proven mockups that actually convert. Because what you can actually see on this specific page is that a lot of them are using the exact same mockups. And what I mean when I say proven mockups is that 3 different shops, generally in like 3 different niches, should all use the same type of mockup. And that just shows us that this specific mockup is doing very well. And just within this first page, we have this one. Let's see if we can find one more using that one, and this one, if that's not the same. No. So basically here, no, this is the same. Let's see. Okay, so basically if you can find 3 or more using this exact mockup, this is one of the most popular mockups to use on Etsy when it comes to comfort color shirts. If we find one more like this, then I would call this a proven mockup. And the general practice I have for this is to do it like this. Because again, as you can see, these specific mockups the entire thing, at least mainly like the thumbnail, is one of the main things that the customer actually consumes when they're like doing their purchasing decision. So it's insanely important to have a good framework for doing this. And I'll show you all of that in a sec, but we'll touch on the thumbnail first. So if you just search for t-shirts, this is generally what I do to find proven mockups. I go here, physical items, star seller. I sort it from star to best. And as I said, we want to find 3 different shops in 3 wildly different niches that all use the same type of mockup. Let's see if we can find on the first page. We got this one, this one, this one. We found that one previously. We have the yam one doing really well here. Saw it up here too, I think. No, maybe it did not. We have the brown one. And here is the same one. So, okay, this is one of the most popular ones too. It's been there for a long time. So this one, and this one. It's the exact same like image, but again, it's from 3 different shops in 3 wildly different niches, but it all works the same. And that's because the mockup itself is really good and it works well within the Etsy platform and how they format everything. And again, I know for a fact that this is the Comfort Color 1717 Pepper mockup. Because again, that's the product we want to sell because it's the top performing product on Printify. And it's been like that all year. So I just searched for Comfort Colors 1717 mockup and Pepper because that's the one that we wanted. You don't even have to go off of Etsy to do this. And you can find it right here from Moonlit Mockups. This is the one that you would want to buy and publish. And again, I'm not affiliated with mockups, so I'm not getting paid to say that. That's just how it works, and that's how I do this myself. So you have to do this for every single mockup. And once you do that, once you have at least like maybe 8 or 9, then you can start creating your whole offer through that. But they need to be based on these types of mockups that actually convert. And let's see here, because then you want a type of framework for actual images here. Like you want to have your first image, like this is the thumbnail, just like we saw here doing our research, this is a thumbnail, but all of these images that I use in my whole listing would need to be actually proven. So all of these would need to be proven in order for it to work. And I did this research ahead of time, so I know that these work in and of themselves. but you use that in order to actually like make the whole thing work. And then you need an offer to showcase your whole listing and to see what the actual customer buys when they purchase your listing. So they buy the design, and it's the main variable to actually get the sale. But apart from that, to make it easier for them to buy and to feel safe with buying, you make a craft an offer, and you do that by having a guarantee, and then by showcasing the design on different types of images like this here. And then you have the how to order images along with a size chart so that they actually know sizing and stuff like that. Then you have a color chart, really important, so that they actually know how the design fares on each individual like colored shirt. Then you have some more bonus mockups, and then you have a review listing that actually showcases something like this. This should be a legitimate review that you actually have. If you don't have one, you can skip it for the time being. But generally you want to have like a type of review here that actually showcases someone's experience with buying from your shop. And these are the proven mockups that actually convert using this type of format here. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is to actually price it at break-even pricing so you can get your sales fast. Because when it comes to Etsy, everything is about rank. And what rank really is that every listing that is put on Etsy has some type of rank to them. And when you first list it on Etsy, that whole listing gets boosted to see how it fares compared to different listings on Etsy. And if you list, generally what I've found when you list stuff both on Amazon and Etsy, that is the lower price you have, the more volume you do. Whereas the higher profit you have, the less volume you do, but the more overall profit you actually make at the end of the day. And in order to gain rank, and what rank is here is that it's how far up in search you actually end up being. So the best play that I've found with Etsy is to just list it at a really low price while it got that boost to get some initial sales. So we can get momentum on the listings. And then through that, we can actually gain rank. Once we have the rank we need, which is generally around 10 to 15 sales, or a 50% visibility score here on Everbee. So if I use this one here, you got this visibility score here. If this says 50% or more, then you can bump up to profit pricing. But generally, once it hits that, you can turn it up to profit pricing, because pricing doesn't change the rank, only sales do. And once you have the rank, you generally still generate sales. So if I use my own calculator here that I made myself, the shirt itself costs, and I'm going to count this on the Printify premium costs, because if you're going to do this seriously, you really need to have it because of the margins. It's one of the main subscriptions that you need. And if you want to try this out, I actually have an affiliate link where you can get 30 days of free Printify premium if you use the code Andreas after you sign up. And that should give you 30 days of free premium that you can use to try this out. But it's so important to have this when you actually are doing Printify or making sales. So when you're at least making at least one sale, use the code Andreas at checkout. It's an affiliate link. I get a small kickback when you do that, so it's at no cost to you, and it really helps with the channel when you do that. But apart from that, it just lets you try this out for free before putting any money in. But do that once you get the first sale. You don't have to do that when you just start the shop, but when you actually get the first sale. But we're still going to count on the Printify premium prices. So we do $11.47 plus shipping here, which is $4.75. And I only sell to the US because it makes my life so easy, and it makes anyone else's life so easy because of every different regulation that exists around the world apart from the US. The US is a lot easier to sell to. So we put in the cost in my calculator here. We're going to use the break-even pricing strategy here. Press use this price, and then it gives you a suggested pricing based on your actual cost. Because when I say break-even pricing, you need to earn at least $2 to $4. And with this one, I'd recommend you earn at least $3.23. So you have some kind of margin for anything that happens, whether it's trying out ads, a crazy customer that wants a refund, or someone who wants to exchange or something like that. You want this kind of buffer so you earn something in case something happens. Because I've found when you price it at something like this, or 18.5 or something like this, if you price it at this and someone wants an exchange, someone wants a refund, you get an off-site ads sale, you generally go minus. So just to account for this, to make it, because there's so many things that you can do and you can account for, off-site ad sales doesn't happen every single time. The easiest way to account for all of this is just to have some buffer. And what I found is that if you have a buffer of $2 to $4, that's enough to cover the cost while still hitting those break-even pricing margins. So you can initially gain rank on your listings. And if you want access to my calculator as well for free, it's really easy to use. Plus, I live in Sweden, so I can just see here. If I just press Swedish kroner, I see everything in my own native currency. Plus, I also see what the actual amount I will put in my Etsy store is before the discount, depending on what discount you have in your store. That's the actual amount that you put in your store. You can get that also for free. I'll put a link to my Etsy quick starter kit, and that includes the calculator within it as well, plus a lot of other goodies within it too. I'll link that as well in the description down below if you want that too. And again, you can get it for free. So it doesn't cost you a dime to get that. So yeah, that's how I would actually list the items once I have both like firstly done the research, which is so important, because if you don't start there, like the whole everything afterwards goes wrong. But once I do that, I ensure that I have the right mockups, which I showed you how to do, and that showcases the actual offer that I sell to the customer to make it easy and as risk-free as possible for them to buy. And then lastly, I listed at break-even pricing using my calculator here to make it easy. So yeah, that's what I basically do to get sales fast on Etsy and to make this work. But as I told you also earlier in the video, like the main variable to actually get the sales are the designs. So, and I have a full 7-hour course, which you can watch here, that actually goes through everything in depth, including the design part. So if you want to learn more and dive really deep into the design part, because I think that's probably one of the most important parts about this whole business, then I suggest you watch the whole course here. Anyhow, that's what I have for this one. I'll see you in the next one.